I don't know if you can hear, but you
I
can
can see
usually.
him.
Okay, so yeah, so I wrote Sky at 4 a.m. when stars sing over mountain. Yes, I hum along.
Nice. Humming along.
What was that?
Humming along. That's that's kind of what.
Yeah, it was so beautiful. I just was like, I wanted to, the first couple of days we had gotten up at weird hours, and then I always wanted to do it again because it was so pretty. Oh, there I am. And so I decided last night's my only other night. I did want to ask you, and I forgot, which was where to find, like the sunrise is just like, it comes with a mountain, it's very bright.
Boom.
Yeah, and the sunset we don't think is kind of does we don't get that
It's
gold.
it's and thank God because come July, the West Temple is the coolest sunscreen ever.
Oh, really?
You want
But
that sun to
yeah,
go down
so
at
if
6
I ever
o'clock.
come back, I want to know where to go for sunrise and sunset.
Okay, well you have to reapply, of course. And
Okay.
there'll be. I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
Okay, and then I don't. Can I just? I know we don't have a whole bunch of time, and my hair is
Oh,
crazy.
I've missed. You.
I don't
And
have a
remember,
bunch of
there's
time.
Memorial Day traffic today,
Oh my God.
so
Okay.
not
Okay.
to stress you out.
Yeah. Um, okay, I'm gonna read this. I won't read this big long one to you, but I will send you this. But this is the one that doesn't sound like me at all.
Oh wow. Here, go ahead.
Okay. Oh, you want me to do it on here?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, it's hard because it's all scribbly.
That's all right. Well, just relax, take your time.
Okay. So are we actually recording right now, all the stuff that I'm saying?
But I'm about to do this for the main one.
Okay. So I'm not sure, Logan, if I can see it well enough.
Go
Okay.
ahead.
So many routes home. At first light, I put myself in place again. What place, you may ask? We'll get to that. 2. Let it come. The whole alive world, silhouetted mountains, how morning sun wakes their colors. Red rock streaked with taupe, beige, yellow. A geometric puzzle of long becoming. Damp chill of early carries sage. The canyon glistens with dew. Someone's song arrives, a tiny wave of sound. Now mountain bluebirds wing from one bare branch to another, a dance. Then nothing. Nothing to plan, count, own. No summons, but this. Does time pass? Do my edges fray? No matter. The magnificent beast has swallowed me. Cells scramble. Inside the churn of oikos, I awaken, belong. 3. Somewhere, in some time, a slow lumbering through the canyon grasses. Low and dust-marked, a shell appears, 13 moons on her back. Scale-like skin, cavern of eyes, her thick tortoise legs trudge, follow instinct to open earth. She digs in copper, becomes copper. Roosts and watches, this egg-laying a spring rite, a holy. After, she lifts herself away. Now mouth prods the soil for nourishment, meat of insects, green of plants. Her head nods as she chews, each slow duty. Then eyes close in their known sun, a spot of time, of fullness. Seconds later, she shifts belly from earth, stands determinedly walks into the waiting largeness. Eggs, a promise, remain. For I too have made promises in the copper morning, entrusted them to earth, a key whose shelters, each a fragile shell.
Yay!
So that's the draft that I did.
Very nice. That's just a draft too.
Yeah.
So how much more work is that going to take, do you think?
Probably, comb through it a couple more times. I did comb through it last night. That's why I was pausing, because I had scribbled changes. Yeah.
So do you
Yeah.
let it sit for a while?
I do.
So you just kind of set it aside for about how long?
So, like if I have time, I'll follow it up for a few days. And this one I had written, set aside, and then I picked it up last night. Because at night that I was up here working, I printed it. And so then I could tinker on the page.
Right.
So it sat for a few days, I tinkered, and now it'll probably sit again for a few days, and then I'll tinker, and maybe one more time. But what it is I have to read it out loud. I have to hear it.
Right.
Yeah, so that's the part.
What's the difference between tinkering on a computer and tinkering?
Oh my gosh. I have this whole thing about the brain to the hand is different. I have a journal. I do a lot of my first drafts in journals just because there's something different that happens. And actually, they've found now that young people are writing to the computer screen. Like the way that they compose is often of that. That's a way of these very short pieces.
Interesting.
Yeah, but no, I feel like, I think scientists say there's a different process that happens when you're working with your hand. My friend Maurice Kenny, who was an indigenous poet from the 1930s, he's no longer with us, but he refused to let his students type. They had to write by hand.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So there's a great drummer, Buddy Rich, and most drummers play with match grip now, holding the sticks the same way in each hand. And the whole reason you hold a stick like this, is because the old fife and drum snares when you were marching were up high and tilted.
Yeah.
So you couldn't do this.
Okay.
So you couldn't do this. You
Right.
had to do this. And so the match grip people finally just said, there's no need. And Buddy Rich said, when I'm holding a stick like this and holding a stick the other way with my other hand, I'm thinking differently with each, even his hand position. He's saying this hand's thinking differently because it's doing this.
Yeah.
So it's kind of the same idea.
Yeah.
So you're very deeply into the landscape where you live. You kayak, you hike. So tell me about the first impacts of not just the landscape, but this desert stillness, the smells, the dryness. How did it impact you, and then what was that developing relationship with this place?
So we arrived at night. So we got here and the sky is full of stars, and it was really, really beautiful. And you could hear, birds singing, and I suppose they're crickets chirping or some similar sort of creature so anyway, but I'm familiar with the sky because we have in the Boundary Waters Canoe Area Wilderness, where we have a cabin, we also see this immense sky.
Right.
We don't see the immense sky with the mountains kind of, like encircling it,
Yes.
which it's really, I don't know, I was just lost. I think I might even have gotten a little dizzy just looking.
Well, it is encircled, isn't it?
Yeah. And that has a feel to it. It's almost like being in a womb, but looking out,
Well, canyons are very womb-like.
Yeah. So anyway, it's the first few days we were here, we were getting up and down. I had company the first couple of days. Now we've been alone, but we were getting up at odd times, so I got to see the sky in different conditions. And one night about 4:30 a.m., the Big Dipper was right over the mountain, which was so stunning. So just kind of beginning to feel like, what is this place like? And especially, obviously, we have no lizards like you do here. So seeing the lizards was amazing. Seeing the desert tortoise, which I saw one the very first day, and then 2 mornings in a row, I would just sit outside and watch the world come into being and see who shows up, and many creatures showed up. But 2 mornings in a row, I watched a tortoise come in and climb up and, dig around and I think lay eggs. I didn't dig to see, but I can't imagine what else they were doing.
Right.
And then get up on their great big legs, which I didn't know they have.
Huge.
And walk off like that. Yeah, it was wild. So I really, really enjoyed them, and they didn't seem to mind if I came and spoke to them a little bit, So I really appreciated that. That's sort of looking from the front of the cabin, and then I would sit in the back as well. And one of my first nights I set up, and I was going to work with one of my mentees on Zoom, and I was setting up, and all of a sudden this little head comes around the corner, and there's a deer, and it's like, hey, what are you doing? Like they just approached. One afternoon, a coyote came and just, nosed around, and I was like, whoa, I'm here, you're there, and then it didn't seem, it was hunting, clearly it was hunting, and I thought it was done, and then I went out a little bit later, it was sitting on one of the rocks, and we just looked exactly at each other, and just, kind of said, booshu. So yeah, I loved everything that showed up. Hummingbirds will come and they'll buzz very close. I mean, they do that at home too. But I don't know, there's just something about being isolated here, and what really amazed me, absolutely stunning, I'd never seen cacti in bloom. I've never seen all those cactus flowers. And they are so gorgeous. And I spent a lot of time sitting down and looking at them close, or taking photos and from different angles, and seeing them in different stages of blooming and, not blooming, and before they bloom, and try to figure out how, I'm not really sure. I have to do some research, but it seems as if even though they have these almost like candelabras, where there's many places for flowers, that they don't all bloom in the same year, or some of them don't bloom. Some of them will be great in bloom, and the other ones looks like they haven't. I don't know what causes that. So I'm interested in that. And there were a lot of other flowers. I saw some orchids I had never seen before. We did hike in to the park, and that was really amazing. It's called the Double Arch, the something Double Arch. Going back to that was really stunning. And also, on that particular hike, you cross a little stream. You cross it about 15 times on rocks, or just, on shallow water. And several times I thought, oh, there must be other people here. There weren't people. It was just the water talking over the rocks.
It's something. It's a
it sounds like
perfect
conversation.
sound. It's a very consoling sound.
Yeah, it's lovely. And while we were hiking there, I also heard a coyote yipping and yipping. And finally, I think, I know, can't be sure because we didn't approach it, but I think I saw where its den was. And I was thinking, I wonder if those are young coyote that are out, yipping in the middle of the day for their moms. I don't know for sure. We didn't see them. We just heard them. I heard a pileated woodpecker. I mean, it's just great to have this chorus of all kinds of things around you. And I would work outside, and it just felt great, And there's a lot of things that were unfamiliar to me, but just the sort of sinking into place is something that I do everywhere, and it felt really good here.
So the canyons themselves.
Oh my gosh. I've never seen, I mean, here's one of my very first thoughts. I am sure there are places in here that no human has ever been. There must be places, and there must be places where the spirits live, And so I just kept thinking about that. And there was one place we were walking, and it got kind of narrow, and I was just looking around, and I was saying, I feel like something's watching me, and maybe maybe there was a creature, maybe it was just that feeling of presence, like there's just a really intense power, that I felt being there, and just stunning. Like, what amazes me is the colors change all day long with the light, and even the patterns, like patterns in one place of what the rock looks like, and in another place, and I get fascinated by what makes the streaks, what all of these different things. So yeah, it was amazing. I've never been in a landscape like this, at least not to just sit and stay and live for a little while. Yeah, nice. It's beautiful.
Anything else you'd like to say about your stay here?
Well, I'm so grateful, to be here. It's been productive for me. Besides writing, I also was revising poems, and I was also doing some advanced work for a book that I have coming out.
Right,
Things,
no, we got a lot going on.
yeah, yeah. And I have to say, when I had calls, I made sure I showed everyone the place because
Oh, nice.
it was really nice for people to be able to see it as
Excellent.
well on Zoom.
All right, well, come back and visit us again, won't you?
I would totally love to.
Very good.
Yeah.
Kim Blazier, everyone. Thank you. Take care.
All right.
Actually, that wasn't so bad.
What was that?
That wasn't so hard.
I talked too much.
No, no.